Hello Island community, my name is Richard. Welcome to my channel. Today I will do a thread response to Alan the Static Traveler. He started a thread some time ago, and I'm kind of late to the game here, but where you show 5 albums that you should listen to before you die, and that is not covered in the book 1001 albums you should listen to before you die. And then at the end of the thread, I also have a couple of big thank yous for some VCLT. I want to note because I am admittedly overdue. Launching into the thread response first, I will keep a fusion theme to it. Why fusion theme? Well, I often find that if after a long and taxing day, which there has been enough of lately, nothing too bad, just there's been a lot of work pressure, so one way to relieve some stress and get in a cheery mood for me is to listen to some good fusion. So with that said, I will start maybe a little bit more of a kind of an outsider and take a couple leaps on that theme, but we'll see if it kind of works. We start with some, but probably more we'll think of as more folk. This is Ivo Popasov and his Bulgarian Wedding Band. Album from the 80s, Orpheus Ascending. And this is really, a lot of this is Balkan folk music. And if you happen to be familiar with the Norwegian Balkan band, yes, there is such a thing called Farmer's Market. You can really hear that there's probably a lot of genesis or inspiration that Farmer's Market would have drawn from this band. Farmer's Market, much more so, pulled in a lot of fusion elements into their Balkan folk music. One of the prime engines behind Farmer's Market being Stian Karstensen. Some of you might remember I showed one of his solo albums a while back called Musical Sanatorium that also pulls in fusion and classical, neoclassical, and all sorts of elements on top of Balkan folk music. Anyway, this is kind of could be a really fun album, high energy album to listen to, and often I slide into Farmer's Market after that. A couple of albums there would be Slav to the Rhythm or Speed Balkan Boogie if you want some live action. Okay, next album here. I forget if I've shown this before. Mahavishnu Orchestra adjacent, shall we say, or this kind of post Mahavishnu for these couple of musicians. This is Jerry Goodman and Jan Hammer. Like Children from 1974. If you are a Mahavishnu fan, you will surely, and I think you will enjoy this album as well. Really enjoy it, and kicks my spirits up a bit. Also like the cover, though this cover wasn't the best condition, but the vinyl works. Probably one of my most listened to albums at the office when I get a chance to have some music on in the background is the album Timeless by John Abercrombie, American guitar player. This is on the ECM label. And again, you have Jan Hammer on the keys and Jack the Jeanette here on percussion or drums. And this just have so many different things built into it. I don't get enough of it. It must be one of my most streamed albums in the last 2-3 years, particularly at work. I think maybe I saw someone was selling the CD as a way to here in the States, so I don't know if there's any sort of a reprint of this album from ECM, but then I'll have to go to a couple of CDs, and I will start with another ECM album by Eberhard Weber, a German bass player. This album is 1974, as the previous one. The name of the album is The Colors of Chloe. I really am very weak for Weber's bass playing and his compositions. The CD alone, right now on Discogs, you quickly have to pay $30-40 for it. I think I paid $32 on Discogs just a few weeks back. They gave me a $10 discount on that because they discovered a scratch on the surface of the disc. I said, as long as it's playable, I'll take it. It's kind of hard to get a hold of, and the vinyl is not pleasantly priced necessarily, or for the condition that you would get it in. Another album that's heavy on rotation at work, or at home, or home office, or work. Then finally, and you cover kind of jazz and fusion and ECM label music. Of course, I cannot not show anything by Terje Rypdal, Norwegian guitarist and composer. So in this case, I will show his album If Mountains Could Sing. I do not believe this has ever been released on vinyl. The album came out in 1995, so I suppose in the CD heydays. It seems like CDs are making more and more of a comeback again. But this is also a great favorite of mine, and particularly on this is the return of Per Urd, or I don't know if you make complete English out of it, maybe the return of the Big Bad Wolf, which is kind of a follow-up to the song Per Urd from his Waves album. I think roughly about 20 years prior to that. And also Private Eye is quite the earworm for me, but that's not the only one on this album. You also get not just his jazz and fusion chops on here, but also some of his maybe more classical music leanings as well. He does have a couple of classic music CDs, and I believe there are some unrecorded works of his as well that you can find in some national archive in Norway. Someone much smarter than me should be recording those things. I hope someday. So that was my 5 fusion albums, which I really enjoyed. There are other fusion albums as well, of course, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Blow by Blow by Jeff Beck, much other nice fusion out there as well, but some albums, and I did not see any of these on the listed as being in the book. Then going over to some VCLT that I received. First, this really great electronic album by Susanna Ciani and Caitlin Aurelia Smith called Synergy on a really nice blue vinyl. And yes, it's in actually a transparent inner sleeve, so it is well protected here. But and thank you so very much to Bill over at the Vinyl Verse for sending me this album. This really hit the spot, and kind of reconnect with electronic music. And I don't know that it's used on this album, but I've long thought about and finally pulled the trigger. So I now might have a Moog Mavis coming along with having signed up for a class to online class thing to learn how to use the Moog Mavis. Don't expect any album releases real soon. Then Pete over at the Sounds from the West Coast channel very kindly sent me 3 albums. First, Stanley Clarke, so more fusion, Journey to Love, and some hard rock, Uriah Heep, High and Mighty. Quite the cover there. At first I was kind of wondering, it's almost like take a second glance you see, but first it reminded me of a Budgie cover, I think, first time I saw the cover. But obviously not quite maybe in their style when you look closer. And then finally Pete also sent me this really nice kind of space rock, krautrock rock type bass music, Black Batik 1 by Nepal, and really nice speckled vinyl. So thank you very much, Pete. All very enjoyable music. Thanks again, Bill. Really appreciate it. This is old music that I have enjoyed and will continue to enjoy. So thanks for sticking with me. I hope at some point in time, maybe do a little bit of a deep dig into some more of the obscure Bandcamp purchases, perhaps, and not obscure in a bad way, just maybe not what I've seen on Bandcamp, and probably more so some CDs than LPs. Hope you are all doing well. Take care, and if you have a chance, go see Beat.